Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show, everyone. My name is Rotimi Eitayo, and we're streaming from Lagos, Nigeria to West Africa, to the entire world. Such a pleasure to be here once again. This is the Good Morning Education Show, and we are always here Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. West African time, and we have our weekend specials on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Still on timeline, and we have our weekend special completed on Sundays, which starts also at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. West African time. It's always a pleasure to be here and also to connect with you, sharing thoughts with you, rubbing minds, experiences with you on the show. It's always a great morning. That's what we say, and that's what we believe, and that's what actually happens on the Good Morning Education Show. It's always a great morning. That's what we say on the Good Morning Education Show. Please, as you're connecting with us, do tell us your name, tell us where you're streaming from, and we will be excited and happy, to connect with you. Today is going to be another day, and we will be talking about something of interest this morning, and I believe that you will find it quite interesting. You know, uh, yes, you will find it quite interesting. We actually are planned to, talk talk about um, talk about uh, help. I'm losing students. However, there's been a bit of a slight um, change, or I'll put it as an adjustment on that. You know, so we're going to be talking about a different topic this morning. We will be talking about help. I need a break. And this is just a broadcast that I believe will be shared with everyone. So the topic uh, is going to be interesting actually, and we will have time to learn together, share together, and go together. Once again, this is Good Morning Education Show, and please do not go anywhere. We will be right back as we take short, a short commercial break. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. This is Good Morning Education Show, and we're talking about help. I need a break. The truth of the matter is this: when we talk about um, breaks, the period we're actually in for those in education is almost also named a period of break. So we have breaks at several intervals. The first term break, the second term break, and ultimately the third term break. We get to see and experience several things happening during the time of break. But then when you begin to listen to people saying that help, I need a break, then I think that signifies something. It can mean something else. Having to go on breaks or having to need to go on breaks is something that I believe everyone should be encouraged to experience. No matter how short, no matter how brief, breaks are actually important. They're important to you, they're important to me, especially if you look forward to being very productive at work. Your breaks are ultimately seen as, a period to rewire yourself, re-engineer yourself, and get to revitalize yourself. There's so many things that you could get out of having breaks. And today on the show, we'll spend some time to talk about that, so that you and I can actually begin to see different perspective of when people begin to say, help, I need a break. What are the things that actually should be put in place for you to find that your break is meaningful, profitable, valuable, and rewarding at the end of the day? Breaks sometimes are perceived in certain quarters as excesses. Some people feel that it is a sign of weakness or laziness. people should realize that there must be balance when we talk about certain subject matter. There must be a kind of balance in perspective and also approach so that we will not be doing the wrong thing while we think that we are actually advancing the cause of the right thing. And this is what we're going to be doing today. So on the show today, we're talking about help and need a break. Now the question is, what exactly is a break? I would say a break is sometimes considered as a withdrawal or a refrain from something that is routine based, something that is continuous, a withdrawal from something that is almost like a mandatory obligation. A break sometimes can be a cessation where you sometimes stop, for a form of rest, breather, review, and sometimes to also allow, you know, some recuperation. Human beings are mental and mentally driven, are also physically driven, and exhaustion can actually take place if we continue to do things over and over and again, and we don't have a break. Take, for example, the Good Morning Education show. We've actually gone off air, especially um, this year. We've gone off air, and we had a break of some sort for close to about 2. So apologies for the break in transmission. I think because of the weather, we've had a bit of a disconnection, but I believe it will come back up properly. So I was saying that breaks are useful and profitable to every pursuit and endeavor. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on what works, what's happening, and what's not happening. When you take breaks, it provides opportunity for you as an individual to actually get to rest. It provides opportunity for you as an individual to actually get opportunity to review. It provides opportunity for you as an individual to also reposition yourself, because what we need to know is not just what breaks are, but what breaks can be useful for. Breaks are useful tools. I want to say that, and I want you to write that down. Breaks, they are useful. You know, they are useful tools for productivity, and they enhance a lot of times. You know, they enhance a lot of people's results. Some people have a poor culture where they don't go on breaks at all, right? And I want to push that question to you. What is your perspective? What is your view about breaks? And today, I would like us to also talk about it. When people say, help, I need a break, and it tells you that there's something close by. When people tell you, help, I need a break, I feel that number one, it seems like such people are close to their limit, their breaking point. When they say, help, I need a break, I think they are close to exhaustion. When people tell you, help, I need a break, it means they are getting close to burnout. And all these things are not always good. Sometimes people can show up, does not necessarily mean that showing up means productivity. A lot of times, people feel good for the fact that they can just see people at work. They feel good for the fact that the person is just clocking in and signing in. But what about the quality of work? What about the quality of output from that individual? If the quality seems to be shrinking or depleting, then you need to look at it, that is it really profitable for someone to just keep showing up just to meet up with the idea of, you can see me, I was there, as opposed to the person being able to be productive. And that tells us one thing. And when you see exhaustion, burnout, and all those things around the corner, you know, we need to begin to pay attention to that, because breaks are not just seen as luxury. It will be important for us to even identify certain misconceptions that people have about breaks. Sometimes people think that to be on break, or to go on break, or to have breaks is a luxury. People want to get as much as possible work done within the shortest possible time. People want to extend, productivity time and hours. People want to be able to harness labor, manpower within the quarter, within the year. But I need us to recognize that so many times those misconceptions causes problem at the end of the day. We must have that positive attitude. And look, breaks can actually be integrated in such a way that you see creativity increasing. you know I'm sure for those of you who are educators and who are running organizations and running schools, you find out that even within a day we have what you call break periods. Some organizations even take a step further to say there's something called lunch break. Now, it's not that you cannot just find some few seconds or few minutes um, to yourself and have a meal or grab a meal while you're working. But the purpose of break is also to provide strength, to provide quality. Think about it. I'm a fan of what you would call a power nap. A power nap, for example, is some element of what you do when you're on a break. Say, for example, you're on a lunch break and probably you don't have something to eat, or you just snacked up on something that didn't take you up to 10, 15 minutes. And here you are, you're left with about 30, 35 minutes, to yourself. A power nap of 20 minutes can do a lot of good for you. It can get you to feel refreshed. It can get you to feel strong. It can get you to feel better. It can get you excited. In fact, sometimes you begin to see that if you are able to spend time to look at the one who goes on frequent breaks and the one who never goes on breaks, you will find that one of them, which of course is the one that actually makes provision for breaks, one of them would actually exude more energy and excitement. The other one will be prone to stress, will be prone to be to easily be irritated, and in fact, one would demonstrate more intelligence with their use of their emotion than the other. Why? I used to crack this. Well, it's not really a joke, but I heard it some time ago, and sometimes when I'm training, I also bring it to the audience, to the notice of the audience. So think about it while you're on the road, in Africa, Nigeria to be precise. Sometimes it can be so hot. And now think about the one who is in a car that has a cooling system. The air conditioning is working perfectly. But then you now look at another individual, same road, is pretty much probably having faulty air conditioning system. Now, if those two, if they probably had an issue on the road, or maybe they suddenly had an accident, or they were involved in an accident, you realize that the one who actually is in the AC car will probably be angry about what happened. He will probably be unpleased with displeased, sorry, with the incident, but the demonstration of rage might not be as much as the one who is coming from a car, The ACs are not working, the heat is actually affecting him, he's sweating, and then all of a sudden someone hits his car. You will find out that he's going to burst out in rage, most likely, right? And what is that telling you and I? It's telling you that the stress level, as much as that stress level is high, we must attend to that as a need, and an urgent need at that. We've heard of people who go to work and they discharge their duties, and while doing that they slump. Sometimes some people even die from that point. And if you check some of the cases, there's been habitual overdrive. They've been running on an overdrive. They did not make time out to rest. They did not make time out to rest, and that is a very dangerous curve, you know. I would really want to advise people to take their health and their life, more seriously, because if you think about it, it's something that shouldn't be. It's something that shouldn't be, honestly. Something that shouldn't be. But that's what we see, you know. And a lot of times you find out that wellness experts will tell you, that take care of your health before your body shuts down. And if you find out the cost of what it takes to nurture yourself back after that shutdown, it will cost you time, it will cost you money, it will cost you a lot of inconveniences, it will cost you a lot of disruption in schedule. So why not just take this break on your own terms? If you begin to see that you feel that you're not as productive as you should be, you might necessarily need to look at how to audit your routine and integrate some strategic breaks. There are different kinds of break. You can have break as a vacation. You can have break as intermissions. You can have break even inducing quality of life. I'm always impressed by people who spend time, at work, and after they finish up with work, they sometimes go for recreational activity. Some people spend time playing basketball, some people football, some people they just walk, some people go for jogging, some people just go to the gym, some people take a swim. All these things are productive use of your time. And they are how do you put it? It's safe to say they're a break of some sort, right? And this is something that we must begin to appreciate even within the education space, right? We want people to get to that point and understand that breaks are not wastages, they are not wastes. It's not you wasting time, neither is it you wasting resource, neither is it you wasting life. Breaks are useful. I want you to tell me and say it to yourself, breaks are useful. You see, when that happens, you'll begin to see better productivity. Are there benefits of taking breaks? I believe there are many benefits. Some of the benefits of you taking break is one, um, there's what you call the opportunity for repair. When you take breaks and you take these breaks meaningfully, not just casually, not just it's just what it is. Meaningful breaks always give opportunity for repair. You get the opportunity to repair your body. You get the opportunity to repair your surroundings. Think about it. When schools go on break, most of the time schools spend those period to make repairs on their building, their infrastructure, and so many things. Why? It was possible for repair because there was a break in place. And the same thing applies to the human body. Breaks provide opportunity for what? For repair. Thank you, Florence, for joining us. Florence Indidi Amaka, thank you for joining us. Yes. And if this is your first time on the show, please do let us know. Number one, it makes room and gives opportunity for repair. Now, what are the other benefits that bricks gives you? Bricks also promotes and also boosts clarity. You know, apart from it providing opportunity for repair, it also promotes clarity. Now, when you think about it, many times that we do things, and when we do it, we are on the go. When we do it, we are on the move. When we do it, we are just moving on. But you see, breaks can actually give you room for clarity. You see, a clear head is because of a settled mind. So when you have settled mind, right, you have settled mindset, settled atmosphere. It's a conditioning of some sort, right? A settled mind will always, you know, produce clarity. Settled mind will produce settled life, will produce settled, you know, confidence and clarity. And this is why breaks are important. Think about it, where sometimes as a creative, you are trying to figure out a problem, even in problem solving skills, even in negotiating skills, powerful experts have told us, negotiating experts have told us, sometimes there's something you call take a walk or go to the balcony. And what does that do? It gives you opportunity to not just disengage a bit from all that is in the moment and try to see above it. Now, that's what a break does. A break gives you an opportunity to rethink, and a break gives you an opportunity, you know, to actually see through, because while you're ruminating, while you're brooding on the conversation, on the things that you're doing, you all of a sudden just get a light bulb moment. Now I get it. Why? Because you are not submersed. In fact, strategies have also created that. Even in brainstorming, you find out that sometimes one of the things that people do in brainstorming is not to try to force to figure things out. Quality brainstorming session, you find out that people just first try to just what let it out, express yourself. So you get people say several things. It doesn't have to make sense, but then they pause and then they look at it again. Sometimes they take time. They just say, you know what, nobody's touching it, nobody's looking at it. And then they come back and revisit it a day after, sometimes some days after, sometimes weeks after. And by the time they're revisiting it, there's a bit of a change. The same thing when you meet with authors and they're writing scripts and they're writing their books, or they're making research, or they're creating content. Sometimes you find out that when there seems to be a writer's block, or there seems to be a stop somewhere, there seems to be a disconnect somewhere, the person puts everything aside, closes his manuscript or his book or his laptop, and takes a walk and decides to do something else. Leaves that thing for a while. And most times I have seen it happen to me. I've seen it happen to a few people. I've heard it also, from other people, that after they just disengage, not that they're quitting, they just create a break, right? Guess what happens? By the time they revisit, sometimes it might not even be, they might just be sitting down and they're thinking of something else, and then it hits them. That is sometimes what the benefit of a break does, right? Thank you, Nancy Ekpezu, for joining. Happy holidays. Try not to try to figure things out in every storage. Take a break. Yeah, it's just pour out what's in your brain. Then when there's a time for storming, we now start, asking why, putting questions to this and figuring things out. It is very important for you and I to always appreciate breaks. And still on the benefits of breaks, I think that breaks also, right? Breaks also, boosts, how do I put it, the quality of the atmosphere. If there's anything that break, I believe, can forestall, is toxicity in the environment. We sometimes, as a result of meeting deadlines, meeting targets, delivering on what we're doing, and of course, different work philosophy, different individual, philosophy, we sometimes get to see tension in our atmosphere. But breaks can be conditioning to make such toxic environment, just come down to a place where you detox that environment with breaks. Imagine there were no closing time. The workplace would be a war place. Imagine there were no holidays, there were no leaves. Imagine there were no holidays for schools. The school would be a terrorist place. Why? Because you're just going on a continuous grind, and without going on break, what happens is that that place will begin to fight itself. Then you begin to see everyone getting agitated, getting irritated, and sometimes all the beautiful trainings, all the beautiful orientation can get messed up because just the quality of work is actually working is anti Yes, thank you, Florence. Florence says everyone would be burnt out, and that's the truth. No customer will come. And if they do come, they might not come back. And if they come back, they might not have good stories to tell. Why? Because the kind of state that the people are, regardless of the knowledge, they might not be producing their best. Right? Regardless of the potential they might carry, they might not deliver on their best. And sometimes this is where we need to now decide, it, is it, in fact, I learned of some organizations where it could be a score against your appraisal if you refuse to go on leave. Sometimes some people have said that some organizations can penalize an individual who refuses, to take a leave. You know, it might mean that the person has something to cover or has something shady going on. Apart from that, they just don't want, because they know that it will cost them more. It will cost them more as an organization if, while in their in their under their employment, something dangerous happens and something drastically, an emergency takes place. It will be their cost. So why not prevent it? You know, prevent it. And now that takes us to a very important point. Now that we all are embracing the fact that breaks are useful, the fact that breaks are profitable, the fact that breaks are not a bad thing, and if you are looking for break and you really need a break, it's not a sign that you're unserious. It's not a sign of laziness. Neither is it a sign that you're running from work. You know, don't let people cajole you to thinking the wrong thing. It's good. However, what do we do making the most and getting the best of breaks? That is something that should be pertinent in our hearts. That should be a major question we are seeking to answer. And what are we saying? That we need to understand that when you take breaks, right, how you use the break will determine the kind of value that you get from that break. Breaks can be profitable and breaks might not be profitable. As good as breaks can be, people must learn to maximize it. And what are those ways where you can make breaks profitable? Number one, you must make sure in every break, rest is paramount. Now, you probably might be thinking, is it possible to have a break and not rest? I think it is possible. It is possible. And from experience, I can tell you it is possible. Whether it's a short holiday, it's a long vacation, whether it's a public holiday, whether it's a weekend, whether it's whatever kind of break, you must try as much as possible to embed rest in it. In some cases, I even go a bit further to try to, you know, expatiate on that, which means, do you know that you could also separate rest from sleep? Now, the truth about it is that um, your 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 reality might be different from my reality, but these principles do apply. Sometimes people are happy and excited about a weekend, right? And people, thank you, Nancy. It is possible to have a break and not take a rest. Yes, you know, some people might, let me give an example. Somebody says, I'm happy, thank God it's Friday, or thank God it's public holiday. And then you ask, what are you going to do during the public holiday? And then the person says, well, I'm just going to spend time to, to put on the TV and binge watch movies. I'm just going to see the movies I've not seen in a while. I'm just going to keep the series on and on and on and on. Now, watch this. The person is on a break. The person might not be resting. Two, the person might be resting, but the person is not sleeping. So you must understand that in your break, you must integrate rest, you must factor sleep. And the reason for that is because you don't want to end up much more tired or much worse than you were before you got on break. Think about someone who went on a vacation and comes back and is complaining about rest. That to me is laughable. If you have that complaint, keep it to yourself. Why? Because you had the opportunity to rest, you had the opportunity to go on break, but you did not maximize it to your profiting. Also, we need to understand that in making breaks profitable and meaningful, you must also factor something which I think is a critical thing to rest and sleep. It's called memories. We need to be very deliberate that whether we're doing something elaborate, we're not doing anything at all, we're doing something in a mini version, memories are very powerful. In fact, if you've ever sat down to listen to friendly conversations, insightful, energetic people talking about their friendships, or you sat in a comedy concert, or you were looking at a hilarious movie or something funny, you find out that you always have this feel good factor. You have this feel good effect. Why? Because whatever is being said, whatever you're saying, is giving you pleasures in your memory. It's giving you opportunity to just, laugh, as it were. And so we need to understand that whatever we are putting as a bucket list, whatever we are putting in our checklist, our memories must be a point in that factor, in that checklist. Your breaks should have pleasurable memories. That's why sometimes you have to understand, for you to have a pleasurable memory, you have to look at doing something you love or exposing yourself to something that is lovely. Because what's the use of having a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes 6 to 8 weeks of break, and then the memory is slim. The memory is not much. If you were to ask, I remember growing up, we were asked to always write, tell us what you did during your break or something like that. And then you start playing with your imagination. Sometimes we exaggerate, but the truth of it is, it's about the memory. And the older you get, you must invest in pleasurable memories. What it is that you need to invest in making sure that things that you get involved with, things you interact with, things you interface with, produces memories that are fun for you, that are good and healthy for you. Because as you grow older, you reflect. You're getting to years where you begin to reflect. What were the things I did? What were the things I did not do? What were the things I missed? What were the things I did not miss? Did I miss an opportunity? Or did I pass that opportunity? Even sometimes your failure at certain attempts does not necessarily affect you negatively. Why? Because you've invested memories in these things. Titi, welcome to the show. Good morning. Thank you for joining.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm talking about a topic today that I know that you are an advocate of.
Yes, so body must rest.
You so we're talking about help. I need a break. I would like to hear from you, and the audience obviously would like to hear from you. What should our philosophy be about breaks? and how can we make breaks profitable to ourselves?
I will start by saying that God created and worked on 6 days, and on the seventh day, he rested. So, science has proven that rest is a key part, not just key part, very critical for the body. We also know that a lot of the healing in our bodies actually take place when we are either asleep or at rest. So it just means that rest is just too important. So even as a school, even as an employer, we must plan rest. So I think it's not good for the holidays to close on the 15th, and then from the 15th of July to the 12th of September, when it's meant to resume, the teachers have no break. So there must be break, and I think 2 weeks break is not sufficient. You must ensure that even during the year there is break. The same thing during the week. So you had work Monday to Friday, you have the weekends. Don't jam pack it with activities. You must plan rest. When you shut down, rest is not just going and not being at work. Rest is also shutting down. Sometimes we're at home, but the things that was going through our heads is like, you can even be lying down on your bed, but your mind is in a constant state of activity. So it's important that we rest. Rotimi knows I use my Sunday. I call Sunday my day of recharging my batteries. The only thing that I would want to do on Sunday, apart from going to church, is maybe hang out with friends or hang out with people that it's like a form of rest for me. It's a form of relaxation for me. So same thing when I really need to take a very important decision, when I'm very stressed, I usually just shut down. That's what I do. I just go to bed. I'm like, okay, it will look better in the morning. I'll be able to understand it clear. So I just shut down. I found that really helps. There was a study I saw recently. It was talking about when people go from meeting to meeting, and it looked at the study of the brain and how it looks like when people are going from one meeting to another meeting. And then I showed it when people go from a meeting, take like a 10-15 minutes break, and then go to another meeting. It then showed that the level of productivity is different. So it's important that we realize that the way our bodies were created, rest is too important for productivity. So when we are trying to walk people to the bones, or when we ourselves are walking to the bones, the truth is that we are working at less than 50% productivity. So we must find out how we incorporate rest. And rest is not only a physical rest, though. It's also the fact that your brain shuts down. You're at rest, completely at rest. Sometimes it's anxiety that makes us, sometimes anxiety that makes us not be able to rest. When you have something and the books are not balancing, teacher salary is not complete, parents have not finished paying, vendor has upset you, money for diesel is not complete. So some of those things add to constant state of unrest. But each person must find a method that works for them, that allows them to shut down, not think about this thing for a few hours and then come back refreshed to think about it. For me, what happens is I go and sleep. Sleep does that for me. Hanging out with friends is also a way to shut down for me. When I just go and say, oh, let's go and hang out, and you're just gisting with friends, it's like a refreshing balm. It just helps me to forget for a few hours all the things that are worrying me. Let me just stop. Well done. Hello, Lumide.
Yes.
Good morning, TITI. Yes, Rotimi, good morning. Nice to be here.
Your voice is sounding restful.
My voice is what?
It's sounding like you're on a break. You need rest.
Yes, now rest is very good, and well, whether we like it or not, is a form of self-care. And my usual slogan is that a drowning man cannot rescue another drowning man. So it's good to rest, to sleep, eat well. If you can exercise there, and try to recuperate. If you allow me to use that word, mentally, physically, psychologically, you are able to refresh. It's a way of upscaling, helping yourself to be at your best. Then you can then go out again and give better service. It's like you go back to sharpen your tool instead of just staying there and the axe is blunt. You're exerting more energy, more strength, waste time. So when you return back, you are able to be better. Whether we like it or not, the rest is just necessary. And like Titi was saying, when you are stressed physically, I think the effect is minimal. But when you are stressed psychologically, even when you are in your sleep, your mind is running into mental health illness. So we can't talk about it too much. We all need to rest. By the way, nobody is a foreman. And if you realize the word forgets those who are dead, you will know you need to take a break. When people are telling you, if you are not there, nobody is there, is a lie. It will shock you to know after people stand up for 1 minute for the dead, immediately they won't shut down the company. People will withdraw money from that company, that the contractor will come and claim their money. In fact, some may not even remember you are not there until about 3-4 weeks after. Sorry, we've not been seeing Mr. or Mrs. So and so. Oh, sorry, it's late. And life continues. So when people tell you, oh, if you are not there, nobody is there, whether in our profession, whether in the family, whether in our religious circle, nobody is indispensable. When a man drops down dead, they will only pay him a visit of 1 minute. Then life move on. So please take care of the way. Since I entered my house on Thursday, I've not stepped out since Thursday. Yes, I had a very hectic June. Almost every weekend was built and whatever. So since I came in drenched, heavily drenched on Thursday. So I just lock up. When you hear lock up, I lock up. And I won't step out until tomorrow. Let me just help myself that way. If people don't tell me, I will tell myself. Thank you.
Yes. That's a good one. Because sometimes I think we put ourselves under undue pressure trying to, I don't know what we'll call that, show that we're super strong, and sometimes overdrive ourselves to a place of burnout and sometimes a place of ill health, you know. And the question that I know that some people might be having at the back of their mind would be, well, if you're not really in control of your time, so to speak, like you're an employee, and probably as an educator, for example, how much more can you control? How much more can you integrate breaks, as it were? So I'd like Titi to touch on that if she doesn't mind.
Okay, so let's say you have break time. What do you typically do within your break time? A lot of us want to continue to do work to save up time. I would say that even if you have let's assume that break time is 30 minutes, go and plan that 20 minutes of that you just shut down. It's because we're always trying to squeeze things into even the time that has been given to us. It's the same thing that you're coming to work. If you're coming to work in the morning and you're not the one driving. So let's say you're entering a bus or you're going with a colleague of yours. That's another time of, rest. The same thing when you're going home the other way. It's another way you can do rest. I know the rest, like I said, sometimes it's just what calms you, what puts you in a state of rest. For some people, it can be listening to calming music or listening to gospel music or your inspirational music. For some people, it can even be you have saved a lot of inspirational talks on your phone, and then you listen to it on your journey home or what. So we must have that attitude of always grabbing it where we can. So for me, before I used to be so angry with traffic, this traffic, blah blah blah. But you know what? Once I'm not the one driving, I've learned to find traffic as a place of peace, as a place to rest, as a place to do something productive. So sometimes when I'm in traffic is my time to catch up with family and friends. And those kind of things help me. Do you understand? It's not about work, it's not about anxiety. So it can be about just with my friends, catching up with people, catching up with loved ones. I've learned to use all that time that normally is a time of being unproductive. So we must in every day and in every way find out how to take time. It's the same thing when you're helping your children do something. You just find out times to say, okay, go and do the work. I won't watch you for 30 minutes, and the other 30 minutes you're just gonna sit down and lie down on your bed. You just must find how you, in each of the things that happen every day, how can I catch that time for work? We also try to, sometimes we are doing too many things. Some people are, they're teachers, then they do private lesson, then they do weekend lesson, then they do volunteer in church. They're in like 3 groups. You must realize when you're doing too much and just say bye-bye to some of those things. So instead of doing 3 things, look for maybe a higher paying so that you can drop one of those things. Sleep and mental health, sleep deprivation, rest deprivation is very close to, mental, what causes mental health challenges. A lot of mental health is triggered. Even when they're there, silent and all that, they're usually triggered by lack of sleep, and they're usually triggered by stress. The doctors have proven that a lot of illnesses that we have, chronic illnesses that we have, are triggered by stress. So although it just shows that your mental health is so important, your physical health as well is important. So give it a priority. So instead of making that 1 million naira that you want to make, maybe be happy with making 750, so that you can give that additional time for your rest and money. That's just so instead of that, 17 hustles, maybe make it 14 and give those 3, the other 3 that you're doing, time for you to rest. Some people are just doing a lot. When I see some people, they're like 4 or 5 groups in church. You're also doing a lot. So one miss on Monday, the other one miss on Tuesday, the other one. So it might not even be schoolwork that is giving you. It's not possible. You need time. Even when it comes to your family and children, there's some days okay, let them eat out. There's some days let them eat pizza, drink gari, eat cereal, go dinner and go to bed. Just so that there's some days that I just been on Sunday. I'm not cooking, I tell my son, he's now old enough, you go and boil the rice, cook let everybody, bring out the stew, everybody should. And I just lie down on my bed and just bone everybody, and when they come, I just say, Mommy's resting. Today is Mommy's day of rest. Mommy's not doing anything. And they're now used to it. So we must all find that thing to rest. The other thing I want to also say is start to empower people around you. It was during the COVID that when I was cooking, nobody else will help me. Morning to night, cooking. I'll wake up, cook breakfast. Before I know it, cook lunch. Again, before I lie down and rest, cook dinner. As I called my son, I said, okay, come on, you must perfect your cooking skills. That's what I told her. This is how to boil rice. This is how to fry plantain. This is how to do, and I'm now enjoying the benefits of it. So I think in trying to rest, you must empower the people around you. So if you're a class teacher, you need to empower the children how to go and get their books from the assign someone that will be the class captain to get the books, assign someone that will clean the board, assign someone. So you're empowering the people around you as well. Assign someone that will come and do the introduction. So what that does is that also gives you periods of rest. during your day, because you empower the people around you. So build people that will help you ensure that you rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What you said just reminds me of sometimes, because of the kind of work I do, where I have the opportunity to travel, and sometimes you're in your hotel room and all that. I recall that someone said, you don't even utilize your money. When they say you have, the hotel probably has a swimming pool, has a gym, has several things. So once I'm done what I want to do, I come back to my room, I'm knocking out, I'm sleeping. Or so, and I think that that's a way to answer that look, I don't have the luxury to now start wondering that. Yeah, of course, going to the gym is good and having a swim, but sometimes I rather just make that a bliss in my mind, just looking at the gym or looking at the pool and just saying great stuff and then sleep. And that takes us to the question, you know, how do we encourage people to know when to stop? You know, just like you said, some people want to have this grab, 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 grab. Let me ask Olushola. A lot of people are putting things on themselves, heaping things on themselves. How can they just know when to stop?
Hello,
Yes,
Rotimi, can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay. So I think my network is really disturbing. Well, the only thing I had is how can they know how to stop?
Stop. Yeah.
Well, we need to love ourselves. As Titi was talking, one thing that came to my mind is that at times when we settle in for a routine, it becomes almost part of our life. And just to fulfill all righteousness, at times when we are not there, we go into this we guilt trip. You are not there, especially when you are doing a sort of a voluntary service and whatever, and people, you are like, if you don't go and all those things, who will be there? Am I not being irresponsible for not being there? So I will say, when you know you need a break, don't allow your mindset to make you feel guilty.
Hello, are you there?
Okay, I was wondering whether it was me because I couldn't help. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we hope you connect with us. But well, um, I think the message is clear, and
Time to stop. Can you hear me? I think this
yeah,
network is.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Are you there?
I think his network is a bit bad.
Yes. So as
Network.
we try to draw the
When your
close of
body,
today's show, we want to remind people about the event coming up on the 23rd of July 2022, the STEM Fest. I would like Titi to just use next few moments to talk to us about that.
Yes, the STEM Fest is finally here. The pot has been on fire, cooking. Oh, the food is almost ready. So it promises to be a day of fun learning. In Nigeria, kids, we're all about fun learning. So it promises to be a day of fun learning where children will be exposed to, various things in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So it's not a day you must miss. So we have, experts from the industry that will be talking about different things on what's happening in the industry, about tech being everywhere, about the schools of the future. They'll be demystifying esports and and gaming. They'll also be talking about, women in STEM, what women in STEM are doing in all over the world. Apart from the master classes, there are lots of things to learn. People can come and experience augmented and artificial reality, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, coding, robotics. There's tie and dye, there's gaming, there's coding, there's drone display. Drone is now, we don't know where the future will be. People will actually have jobs called, drone handlers or drone operators. And that for pharmaceutical companies, it could be for, now we just seem to see it for photography, but it's really going to be in various things. I know it's also being used in, in the army and defense, but that thing is going to be something serious in the future. So just come and learn about drone programming as well. There's just so much happening. There's also the STEAM competition where people get to win tablets and lots of other various games, various STEM kits. It's just so much happening. Even there's going to be an e-gaming tournament as well, and prizes to be won. And I always say that the first 200 children that come before 9 a.m. on that day all get free gifts. We also have lots to eat, free popcorn. We have free pizza courtesy of Domino's. Oh my goodness, it's just going to be a swell day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish. Don't let me say
you wish you were a child. Please, adults, don't come and fall our hands and be behaving like babies on that day and say, me too, I'm a child of God. But
make provision for adults too.
You be spectators, observers.
You know that there's no limit for us. So
that's a good angle.
It's a limitless event for adults.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right, thank you so much. It's been a great time having this show today with you. Thank you to all those who joined. Nancy, I think Florence, everyone who's joined us today. Thank you for the comments. Those who didn't make comments, thank you all the same. And for those who will catch up with us afterwards, thank you. As we bring the show to a close, we have only one thing to say to you. I hope that you have a great day at the end of the day. At the count of 3, we will share our goodbye payoff. 1, 2, 3.
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Have a good morning, restful morning, and a restful day to everyone. Thank you very much, Rotimi. Thank you, Olumide.